There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With even more exclusive content, with over 150 channels in your vehicle, including the widest, deepest variety of music, ad-free. Root for your team. Get news. Listen to whatever makes you laugh. And hear all about your favorite stars. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels filled with music and enjoy a favorite shows with SiriusXM Video. Thousands of hours of shows and performances on demand. What you love is on now.
In the world of source units, one can arguably say that there hasn't been a whole lot of change or new energy put into the category. I mean, the form factor has somewhat evolved over time. And of course, there's always going to be OEM integration challenges. But one brand has certainly taken a whole new look and has provided a new offering on what we're calling the source unit. Today, you're in for a treat on CMA Showcase because we've got Linkswell in the house and you're going to learn all about it. This is CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM, Linkswell, and it starts now. What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to another episode of CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Source units is on the menu today, and as you know, you've been in the business long enough as a dealer, there are some key players within the source unit market that you've learned to trust and have sold dozens, hundreds, thousands of their units. But the landscape has changed. Manufacturers are coming to the table with really intricate and really impressive displays. So what do you do? How do you sell a 5-inch screen when factories offering much bigger? Well, one of the brands that have kind of come up with the solution, which is pretty unique. If you haven't heard about it, you found the right show. You're going to learn all about it today, and that's called Linkswell. They're offering these huge tablet-style interfaces that look really modern. Not only that, they're coming with a full plug-and-play system that you can connect to your vehicle, integrate, not lose any functionality, and above that, the fit and finish looks factory. Impossible? Haven't heard of it? Let's find out. We are linking up with the folks at Linkswell. We've got two specialists coming on the show today. The first, his name is Walter Detlefsen. He's the National Sales Manager, along with Jonathan Detlefsen, who is their Technical Support Manager. Fellas, boys, welcome to CMA Showcase.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks. I'm pretty excited because, might I add, this is Linkswell's debut. First time you guys have been on our network, so we're super appreciative and happy that you're here today. Walter, when I first seen the product, I was like, who are the people behind this? I need to know. I need to find out whose brainchild this is, because not only does it certainly keep up with the trends that we're seeing from a manufacturer like OE standpoint, but it looks so attractive. It just draws me in. I mean, you've got to be pretty proud of what you guys have kind of accomplished so far. We're going to learn all about this story. So I'm bombarding you. Let's break it down. It's your first time here. Walter, please tell us the Lynxwell story so our viewers can learn about your brand and your story.
All right. Well, Linkswell Automotive started just a little over 5 years ago. We are actually owned and operated by a factory in China that has been in business for over 10 years. At the time, they were producing various products for other companies here in the U.S. They were doing camera and navigation interfaces. And, vehicles nowadays, mechanically, they're very, very sound. Years ago, you were lucky to get 100,000 miles on a car, but now they're getting 500, almost 1 million miles on them. But electronically, they are challenged. So what was happening was we were making these camera navigation interfaces. And once in a while, when the factories would do some type of an update to their system, it would affect how our system operated. So the owner of the factory decided the best thing to do was to open up an operation here in the US where we could do product development and testing. So again, a little over 5 years ago, we opened up a 1,700 square foot facility here in Rancho Cucamonga, California. We built some relationships with a handful of dealers here local that we could use for testing and stuff like that. We had 5 customers. We offered 13 different products, and we just started showing, trying to build up the product, make it work better, make it a lot faster as far as for quality and all that goes. And then 2 years later, we were able to move into a 3,700 square foot facility, and we added another 7 employees. And then a year after that, almost about a year and a half ago, we moved into our current facility, which is almost 11,000 square feet, and we have 16 employees now. So in that short period of time, this company has really grown. But the success has been our T-style radios.
Oh, we're definitely, don't you worry, Walt. We are definitely going to get into some of them T-style radios. So obviously experienced some very fast growth in a very short amount of time. Understand a little bit better your background and how you got here. But who is Linkswell right now as it stands? You mentioned you're in Rancho Cucamonga.
Well, no.
You've got 11,000 square feet.
No. We moved from Rancho Cucamonga to Riverside. So we're in Riverside, California. We moved from the 1,700 to a 3,700 in Riverside. Wow. And now we're in the same complex in Riverside, but we're at almost 11,000. So, but we are in Riverside, California. Again, we have 16 employees. We now are, again, we were offering 13 different products that were camera navigation interfaces. We actually don't even offer those anymore.
Wow, how everything has changed.
We are now, again, and we have over 150 different products. We have over 700 direct dealers that we deal with here in the US, Canada, and down in South America. So, our company has grown quite a bit. And again, the success has come from what we call our T-style radios.
That is a lot in a very short amount of time. Jonathan, anything to add to this story to give us a better idea or a scope of what, Linkswell is as a footprint?
Oh, yeah, we did. We kicked off with those interfaces. The problem with anything when you're dealing with the factory stuff is, like Walt mentioned, the factories are so integrated that you would take your Ford truck in to get an oil change, and they're like, oh, we've got an update, and they would update something, and it would cause all this chaos happening inside. So we were like constantly chasing our tail, trying to work within all that factory stuff. And so it was a lot of work, but then, yeah, that T-style came out, and it was cool. Like, I've been in this industry a long time, and like you mentioned in the intro, there's been a gap in the source unit market, like a huge gap for so long. Like, I can remember those first dashes that were integrated and those first dash kits that came out for those double DIN radios, and you just knew it was aftermarket. You just knew this dash was aftermarket, and trying to get these radios in there. But it was all you could do. And since then, like you said, the factory has stepped up their game. They went from just a radio to now we have touchscreen, from touchscreen to now we're integrating with all of this stuff. And when it comes to the aftermarket side, we really have, there's been a long gap. So yeah, when this T-style, when they brought it up, we were like, yes, this is it. We've got that niche now. There's been a hole here, and we're here to fill it, and that's what we're after.
Okay. One last thing before we get into the good stuff. Obviously, T-style radio, that seems to have been like the game-changing moment, that where all of a sudden it went from this to where, it changed direction. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that to set this up, Walter.
Well, basically what happened was we had started our business here. We were trying to get, customers and stuff like that. And one of our product managers ran across these, what we call T-style radios from another factory there in China. We brought them over. We happened to be showing at Knowledge Fest in August in Dallas, our first year. And so, we're like, hey, let's throw them in our booth. Let's see what happens. We had a little 10 by 10 booth there, but we put them on display there. And the dealers just went nuts over these things. Again, it was something new, something that nobody had seen before. So, but the challenges we had was, again, we were buying these from another factory. and there were some quality issues. And so, after doing some testing and that, we went back to our factory and said, hey, we could do something with this, but you need to make some changes to the Bluetooth, to the receiver, to the tuner. And anyway, so they went back to that factory and said, hey, we want to do something with you guys, but you need to make, and they refused to make the changes.
Oh, no.
So I just was like, well, crap, we've got such a people are really excited about this. I don't want to lose this. So what can we do this? I mean, can our factory? And so they did some research and well, long story short, here we are today, with we have over, I'm going to say at least 20 applications. Again, like you said, they're all plug and play. You don't need to buy all these additional harnesses.
What generation are we at now then?
We just launched the middle of this year, we launched our Gen 5. So we started with the Gen 1, which was made by another factory. We started developing the Gen 2. We went to a Gen 3 and then 4. We did the 4 for probably a year and a half, Jonathan.
Yeah, it was about that.
Yeah, anyways, and now we just launched our Gen 5, which what happened was when we were developing this product, we saw us getting to the guy with the little 4-inch screen, with the factory radio type of deal. We did not anticipate the guy with the factory 8-inch screen with navigation, the Denalis, the Platinums. We didn't expect them to want to be changing their radios. But we were wrong. And so that's why the Gen 5 came to be, which Jonathan will get into a little bit later on in the presentation with the features and the benefits to the Gen 5. The Gen 4 is still a good unit. And for the average...
So Gen 4 is still available at this moment in time?
We still are shipping the Gen 4, and it's still a good quality piece for the average customer. The Gen 5 is more geared for the higher-end customer.
Jonathan, do you want to speak real quick to that, just to give people a preview of what we're about to experience and just high level? What are we talking about when we talk to Gen 5?
Yeah, so Gen 5, we're getting into like Toss Link. We're getting into being able to control different Bluetooth devices using the Android and stuff.
Hold on. Did you just say Toss Link from a source unit direct out?
I did.
Heavens me.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just
so
needed to point
that's essentially the exciting part. Like I said, I've been in this industry a long time, and as we went through generations, we just continued to put before our factory, like, hey man, we need you to make this bar now, and they answered pretty much every time. And so we just kept setting that bar higher and higher and higher. And they keep reaching it, and it's exciting to know that we've got the support behind all of our engineers. Like the team has grown, they're excited, and good enough is never good enough for our team, which means we're just going to continue to plow forward and just make new stuff.
I want to make some comments before I know we're going to get into the presentation, but here's what I have to say about this. I'm very impressed with what's the word I'm looking for? The approach, the delivery of the product, and how this came about. The story is amazing. But the moment that manufacturers went with this type of interface, and the moment that the source unit industry recognized that mechless is basically the standard now as far as a source unit is concerned, I knew then and there at some point this is going to go over to how every technology has become, which is software-based, upgradable, so on and so forth. I have a feeling this is what we're about to experience because I've seen keywords already that you've mentioned, Android, tablet, all these things are kind of piecing together in my mind, whereby you have now come up and are offering a system that can offer features that I already can guess that other source units simply cannot based on the platform, and then the flexibility of where it can evolve to since it's software based. So that's my guess. I haven't even gone through it yet. I'm excited to learn about it. But I just wanted to say that for the record. All right. So I understand that, Jonathan, you may want to set up a presentation in the back end here. In the meanwhile, while you're getting that set up, we're going to let you go. We're going to learn about all these products. We'll get Junior and Senior Detlefsen here to go through it. We also have a little product in hand kind of showing so you guys can get an idea of the look and the feel and the textures and all that good stuff. And also we're going to talk about a little bit of the software. I think Jonathan's going to do a little demo on that. So don't go away. first we're going to learn about the product, get a little bit of training on it, and then we're going to wrap this whole thing and discuss it. So, boys, we'll put up the presentation, and we'll give you the stage.
All right. Jonathan, go for it.
All right, cool. So we keep using that term, like you said, the T-style, which essentially you could call it tablet style. Essentially, the T could mean one of those, I suppose. But ultimately, you can kind of see in those pictures there, everything's going to come with its own factory match bezel. That's the plan. We want it to look factory. We want people to look in the dash and have to question if that's aftermarket or not, and then realize that that's a 12-inch screen sitting inside the dash of an F-150 or a Silverado. But you can see the amount of detail that we've got in, like with the GM, we've got really nice painted matched bezels, the Highlander there as well. We've got the big one that'll cross over. But feature set wise, we've got a lot of things. So I'm just going to touch on a few things as we kind of walk through the presentation. And then I actually have a unit here powered on that I'll be able to screen share with you guys and actually show it. Our radios are going to have everything that you would expect in a car stereo. So we're going to have AM, FM radio. We're going to have a Bluetooth. We have USB inputs for music playback, for video playback, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Like I said, the Generation 5's got the TOS link. And because everything that we do is built on an Android tablet, we now open the door for you to turn your radio into your own radio. So just like a cell phone or a tablet, it does all of these cool things. And then it becomes your tablet or your phone, and you change where the icons are. You change the apps that you have on there. And our radios will let you do kind of that same thing. So we've got the Google Play Store where you can go in there and download the majority of apps. You could do gaming apps, like you could sit there and play Fruit Ninja on your screen. You could download stuff like Netflix, YouTube. We've got OBD readers, so you could get an EasyLink OBD reader and put in the EasyLink app, and then you can see all of your diagnostics happening there. Things like Ring, if you've got the Ring app, or you've got a Ring doorbell or lights and all of that stuff connected at your house, you can actually put the Ring app on the radio. So while you're driving, if somebody happens to knock or ring your doorbell, it will pop up right there on the screen, and you'd be able to answer and talk to and do all of that stuff straight from the radio. And those are essentially the third-party extensions that you're able to just add to these tablets, because it's got everything else. And plug and play harnesses, we're going to retain your cameras. We're going to retain, even if you've got the 360 camera on the Ford, we can retain all of that as well. We're going to give you steering wheel controls, and everything's going to be in the kit. So you're not going to have to go find a harness or a CAN bus adapter or anything like that. It's all going to be built in. New with the Generation 5, along with the is wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. Generation 4 is still going to be wired, so that's a cool little added feature as well. But on-screen climate controls, and yes, I will show you all of that stuff a little bit later. You want to talk about the T-style light?
Okay, so we, one of the challenges we have is, our units are a little pricey. They retail for right around $1,500, and for some people it's a little pricey, and all they're looking for is a larger screen. They're not looking for the TOS link. They're not looking for all the bells and whistles and stuff like that. So for that, we are going to be launching a new line in a handful of our vehicles. The first one will be for the Toyota Tundra. We're going to develop a new, what we call our light version. This one here, you will not have the ability to download the various apps. It will come with a handful of apps already onto it, but it's going to be more geared for the customer that uses his phone. In other words, the apps on their phone, the navigation and all of that. It is wireless, Android Auto CarPlay, so you can transmit this all wirelessly. And again, it's going to have a retail price of just right around $699. So, again, it's going to be more for the guy that's just wanting to get the bigger screen. because we're constantly getting the guys with the F-150 that's, they got the 4-inch screen and they just want a larger screen. They're not wanting to do all these various apps and stuff like that. So that's what this piece is going to be designed for.
Yeah, it's just kind of the low key, like we have found out we have two customer bases. We have the customer base guy that is the super techie guy that wants to do all of the crazy things that he can possibly do. And then we have the other guy who just wants to plug his phone in and have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto on a big 12-inch screen. So trying to bridge that gap. Yeah, the factory came out with this light version. So we're super excited to see kind of what's going on there. One of the other things that kind of came about with the release of the T-Style at our first SEMA, Walter, you want to talk about those IQ radios too?
Yeah, what happened here was we were at SEMA 5 years ago, and we were showing our T-Style radios, and we got hit by the guys in the hot rod industry. Hey, this is really cool, but what do you got for us? So we've been working with trying to develop a radio that can be used for, various other applications. Now, our IQ radio was initially designed to give the customer an OE look at an aftermarket price. And we have a handful of kits for Nissan, Kia, Hyundai, and stuff like that. But we also have just recently, and Jonathan will get into it a little bit later, a universal kit that will turn our 10-inch IQ radio into an actual double DIN mount so that you can do the universal applications. And we do have a handful of people out there that are doing custom installs in that. The next step that we're going to have with the IQ product that we've challenged our factory to, and we challenged them for 4 years now. As Jonathan talked about earlier, there's systems out there like EasyLink and various other products like that ideally the way it's designed is for instance, Retro Air has an air conditioning system for the old 58 Chevy Bel Air. And the way it works is you install the system into the vehicle, but what are you going to do for climate controls and all that? Because you can't put all that on the dash. So the way they designed it is you download an app to your phone and you can control your AC off of that. Well, that's cool, but it's even better if you can do it off of your radios. So our new Gen 5 product and hopefully our new IQ product will have this new Bluetooth system that will allow you to run systems like Retro Air. There's a device out there called the Trigger where you can run various lights, doors, windows, and all of that stuff. So these are some of the key features and benefits to our product is you can expand on it. It's not just a radio.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And from an installer side, these IQ radios, and I'll show you some in a little bit, they're really shallow, and the footprint actually makes for you to be able to make like a really simple trim bezel and have this radio flush in there. And it will, like we've got our 301 is just a pure glossy black flat screen. You can see right there. So when it's set into a nice pressed dash, it doesn't look like you've got an aftermarket radio. It looks something special. And yeah, adding all of those cool things. These IQ radios are going to have pretty much all the same features as the T-Styles have, apart from the connection with the AC controls. But these they'll come with specific kits for cars. So like if you've got a Toyota Corolla, we'll have a kit that will fit in your Toyota Corolla, and then you can decide, hey, I want the 301 with the knobs, or I want the 1K that's got the knobs, or we even have one that's a 10-inch that motorizes, that goes from vertical to horizontal. You can see those in the pictures there. So you have one kit and you're able to fit one of 3 radios into that kit. And I'll have some hands-on for that, just kind of showing you that. But it gives you all the things the T-Style's got. You got wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You've got stuff like the Google Play Store, AM/FM radio, Bluetooth, all of those, standard things that you would hope to have, built-in radio. These ones as well have a TOS link out. So if you're building any kind of high-end system, you'll be able to do that with these as well. So these have been really solid units, super exciting. And as Walt said, there have been a lot of guys custom mounting these in different vehicles. So we did come up with a little easier way to do that. And I'll show you the kit as well when we get going. But we just continue to push into universal. So you want to introduce them to our double DINs?
So the double DINs, we have a 10.1 inch and also a 13.3. Yes, 13.3 inch. These are motorized units. Again, they have all of the features that our T-style radio has, but this is more for a universal type of mount. You do have to be cautious to make sure that you don't have knobs or anything that's going to interfere the unit from rotating. It won't cause damage or anything like that. It's just, you need to make sure there's nothing there. But again, these units have the same features as our T-style, where you can do the various apps. It's great to watch a movie when you have it horizontal, but when you're doing navigation, you want it vertical, so you get the larger screen with the mapping and everything on there. You can, excuse me, you can download Waze to these things and use the Waze navigation app, which is really cool because that's, you can interact with it. Say that there's a cop here or there's an accident and stuff like that. And you can do that all on the face of our radios.
Yep. Yeah. And the double DIN chassis is going to be industry standard. We do have a little bit longer, for those of you who know, by putting the face through the back of those install kits. We do have, it's probably 3 or 4 times deeper than a standard one, so that you can play around with if you need to push the screen out a little bit further. But ultimately, if it can fit a double DIN chassis, you'd be able to get one of these in it. It's going to be on you for your interfacing, your CAN bus, and all of that stuff. We're just going to give you standard, completely universal, do what you want to with it. But yes, I will show you side by side of the 10-inch and the 13-inch because when you see them separately, they don't seem that big of a difference, but I will try and hold both of them up on my screen so you can see the difference of the 13 and the 10. That 13-inch screen is massive and is one of those things that stops everybody when they walk by your car and they see this huge 13-inch floating screen coming out of your dash. So, and just this year, we've been working, actually, it's been a couple years working, but this year we are releasing, actually just within the last week or so, a whole new product line to kind of go with these high quality these high quality radios and stuff that we're creating. And so we are releasing at this point right now 3 different amplifiers. So what you want to give them a rundown on what that is?
Oh, you know more about the amps than I do. I'm sorry.
I just tried to play. We were volleying really well there.
Huh?
So I was just trying to keep volleying. Yeah.
They're black.
Yeah, so we've got
our logo on them.
Coming out. They're black and they got screw mounts.
Yeah.
All right, John.
I think they have RCA too.
We'll have 3 of them. We're going to have a 4-channel. We'll have a 5-channel, and then we've got a really big 10-channel. So these, because our history is in factory integration, that's actually where they're kind of birthed out of. So one thing we get a lot of with the guys with the F-150s or the Silverados, they are wanting something factory, but more than what factory can offer. So they put our radio in there, and then they get our radio in there and they realize, oh man, now I have an aftermarket radio. I can add an amplifier or I can add woofers. And so then they start looking around to do that. So what we wanted to do is create an easy way to accomplish that. So our 4-channel and our 5-channel actually come with like plug and play harnesses. So even if you were to keep a factory radio in there, we would be able to take the high level in and then send it back out to the speakers. So a really easy install with a 9-foot little extension. The amplifiers are super small. We're talking like 16 inches. Just these little itty bitty things that should fit under just about any seat. The 4-channel and the 5-channel are going to run about 65 watts a channel. That 5th channel for the sub output on the 5-channel, you're just right around 180. So just to power a nice little 10 or 8-inch. So again, these are for the guys that are just wanting a little bit more. We are not going to be the SPL guys with these amps, but they do have a DSP built in, which makes it even greater and better than a small footprint amp, because you can download the app on your phone or on our radio. And inside the DSP, you'll be able to routing, you'll be able to do EQs. We actually have separate EQs per channel if you wanted them to, digital time alignment, gain control, all of that stuff. and you'll have 5 presets that you can actually set. So if you've got different musics that you're listening to and you want to set those, all within the amp there, just using the app. And one other really cool feature about these amps is that they are Bluetooth, so you can actually source from a Bluetooth device. So if you had no radio, you literally just had power, ground, and some kind of switch to turn the amp on. You could take your phone, pair it, and then actually play the music from your phone straight out of the amp. So we are currently working on weatherproofing these amps. So for the guys with the motorcycles or the boats or the UTVs who don't want to have to put a radio in somewhere, they'll be able to just straight from their phone use that as the source, have some really good sound. And then that 10 channel amp will be 100 watts by 10, or you can bridge channels 9 and 10 and 7 and 8 to make it into an 8 channel. And if you bridge it, you're going to be right about 300 watts when you bridge it. So it can power up a little bit more powerful sound system. But that one there, it's big, it's pretty, it's gorgeous, and it will sound incredibly good. Be able to, again, crossovers, high levels. So you can completely take apart your 3-way passive crossovers and make them active, put them into the DSP, and really tune your system something nice. So these just came out. You can see that new product because it is new. We just released it. So if you're interested in those, you should totally hit up Walt, because they are going to be really, 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 really good DSPs and amplifiers.
We've been testing these for a while and have been very, very impressed with them. And again, like Jonathan said, these are just to enhance the factory system, just to give the customer just a little bit more. We're not trying to be any competition or anything like that. We're just trying to. We had a situation where we were doing a test fit on a Dodge Ram, and we didn't pay much attention to the unit when we first brought the vehicle in, but we put our unit in there, and man, it sounded like crap. So we were like, wait a minute, this isn't right. So we pulled that out, put the factory one back in, and it sounded like crap also. And that's when we figured, you know what, we've got to do something a little bit better. We've got to do something that's going to make this sound better. The guy's putting a 12-inch screen in his vehicle. He's going to want it to sound good. So anyways, that's kind of how these came to be. And then we just kind of grew on it. So, but I think it's got a lot of key features that I think, again, the average customer is going to really like these.
Yeah, totally agree. The night and day, that truck that we were talking about, when we put that amp, like, we just plugged it in, and I was like, "There's no way. This is not the same truck. This is incredible."
And we didn't do anything with the speakers or anything.
Yeah, I said I didn't even touch the DSP. I literally just plugged this thing in, and like,
it was great.
Yeah. So yeah, super. It was really good. So I'm really excited to see those going out. But I think that's what we have for our little presentation as far as our slides go. You can give us a follow on all our social medias. But hey, Ben, you want to come back in and hang out with us?
Do you see my full page? You better be ready. I got some questions for you.
Okay. Bring it on.
First of all, congratulations on the amplifiers. Love the features in there. I see multi-channel. I see Bluetooth built in. I see app control. No, I'm not going to start there. I'm going to go back a couple steps. Number one, tablet. This is my serious face. You got to take me seriously because I'm very serious about these questions.
Well, you have your serious hat on. So
I have my serious hat on with the decal, right? Well, you got that?
Yeah, got the decal.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to have the decal.
These are Android-based tablet is the platform. Right. So I'm going to assume added features such as you mentioned Google Play Store, right, to get apps, correct?
Right.
Google Assistant must also work then, or does it not?
It can
if you enable it. So Google Assistant
a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. What about when it comes to?
You can actually do Zoom calls on our radio.
How did you know I wrote that down? My second Zoom the actual Zoom teleconference.
Yes.
Does that mean we could? Is there a camera that we can put onto that?
You can just use a USB camera.
Really?
Yep. Just plug a USB into a USB camera into one of the USB
through the Zoom Android app.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Correct, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So Google, Zoom. So on the camera question, how many camera inputs do the T-Style or the IQ are they separate?
Our T-Style radio currently has the current comes with 3 inputs. It comes with a front, a rear, and a right. Okay.
Right.
But again, our history.
Well, it can be flipped inside to go left.
You could do whatever you want with it.
Sorry, you can flip it. Yeah.
Is it connected to CAN bus to know that when I'm signaling right, it'll automatically pop on?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
You put it in reverse, it'll be in reverse. Now the front one, Jonathan, on our unit, does it work with the time speed like our old camera interfaces?
Not built into the unit, but if they buy the
that's what I was going to get into. Again, because of our background in the camera interfaces, for like the Jeep, for the Ford pickup truck, we have an optional multi-camera device that will allow you to run up to 7 cameras.
It's like a switcher.
To this unit. And they'll work off the CAN bus, reverse, turn signal, all that, slow down below, I think it's 5 miles an hour, the front comes on, or you can manually bring them up.
Like the camera you want. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Interesting. So even if I wanted like a high-mounted rear camera onto the bed, or I could do that as well. Very interesting.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So for guys that want multi-camera, this is certainly does not limit you in any way. In fact, it gives you more options.
Right.
I'm going to assume for those of us who have children that Disney Plus can play on this screen, or any other video app, or how does that work?
Disney Plus. Disney Plus will not.
Disney Plus will not. Netflix?
Disney Plus, it locks it. Yeah. So there's going to be a wrestle internally with streaming apps because our tablets, it's rooted because it's got to talk to the CAN bus. And certain apps will notice the rooting, and out of security features, it will say this is your device is unacceptable because they think you're going to steal the thing. So if you find older versions of apps, like you can find, like we've got Netflix on our website, you can pull down, and it's just an older version that doesn't have that security feature in it yet. The problem with Disney Plus is it's too new.
Gotcha.
There's nothing.
Gotcha.
It never came out without.
So let's say web-based one like YouTube, for example. No problem.
Yeah, YouTube you can download.
That means CMA Networks works on it. I guarantee it will.
That's it.
Perfect. Other question for you. Obviously, this can tether to your phone Wi-Fi.
Yes, you can use your phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. Certain cities, like for instance, Los Angeles, if you're a Spectrum customer in Los Angeles, all of LA City has Wi-Fi, and you can link to that. You can hook to that.
Fancy.
Or obviously you can use the Wi-Fi in your house, that type of deal. So we have Verizon for the company, and Verizon sells a hotspot. And so we purchase a hotspot that we keep in our vehicles, but also a lot of the factories come with a Wi-Fi connection in their vehicles. The Silverado we had, a lot of the Ford trucks have it. And, you can tie into that factory Wi-Fi.
So, a deeper, more technical question. If I'm connecting to the Linkswell, my iPhone, through USB Connect, can I tether USB for internet connection, or does it run off Wi-Fi for internet connection?
So, it's Wi-Fi. It worked for a while, then Apple changed something.
Oh, okay.
And it wouldn't let us tether again. So it may come back and out because of what Apple does.
So what if I had an Android, like a Samsung?
Same thing. That we've just found that some of them, for whatever reason, as the versions go, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depending on the update.
So, and this is another one. Sorry, I'm bombarding you guys, but it's very interesting. Android-based device providing Apple CarPlay. Just want to make sure you said that right.
Yes.
Yeah, and oddly enough, Apple CarPlay works better than Android Auto.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. But anyways. Okay, so and wireless. I mean, I noticed most of the products, other than the Gen 4 that I heard so far, are all wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto.
Yes, they are. They are wireless. Yeah. I personally, myself, I disagree with that. I use my phone for navigation. I use my phone for music as I'm driving down the road. By the time I get to my destination, if I don't have my phone plugged in, it's dead. So
fair enough. But invest in a wireless charging pad.
Wireless charger. I know.
I'll tell you why. I'm so annoyed with this. I have a vehicle which is wired Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but it has a wireless charging pad.
Yeah. And I get it. Trust me. The guy running to the convenience store or something like that doesn't want to have to, anyway, I get it. And it's been a cool
It's a great feature, and honestly, people walk into stores looking for that feature.
It is. It's
why we argue.
It's a have to.
Okay, I got three more for you guys. Did you say the IQ is a motorized landscape portrait device? Did I hear that right?
We have
one of them is.
Not all.
Huh?
Right.
No, just two. We have two 10.1 inch, and this is going to get a little confusing. We have two 10.1 inch in our IQ line that are motorized.
Okay.
Our kits, when you get involved with our IQ products, you'll get the first thing you want to look at is the applications page. And in the applications page, it's going to have a style, and it's going to have 5 different ones. It'll be a 10 inch, a 9 inch, or it'll be a 10H. Okay. Now the 10 inch and the 9 inch, the kit itself is set up for either a 9 inch screen or a 10 inch screen. But for our 10.1 inch motorized, the bracket we have that'll fit on the bezel, we have a 9 inch or a 10 inch.
Okay.
So
That's not that hard.
So yep. Some applications you can do like for instance, the Jeep JL. Okay. The new Jeep JL, you can actually use our 10.1 inch motorized unit in that vehicle. Now it's designed for the 9 inch screen, but you can use the 10.1 because there's nothing to obstruct it and stuff.
Right. It's about freedom of movement is really what it's about.
Right.
Now, when you say it's motorized, I'm just trying to visualize this. So do I have to press a button for it to change mode?
You just hit one little spot on the bottom of the radio on the side, and it'll actually motorize and go back and forth.
Can you do a video on that? That in itself is worth it. I'd like to see how that works. Okay. Back to the DSP, Jonathan. I know I saw that in the slide.
Yes, you're not going to ask me about the DSP.
If you want me to. I was just going to get into third order bandpass filters, if that's what you want to answer. No, I wasn't going to ask that at all. I noticed that obviously this is an application on your phone that you can use to set up your DSP and control your DSP. Can you also do that from the tablet, from this radio, full DSP control?
Yeah. Within the Gen 5, yes.
Okay.
Because it's got the Bluetooth that can command. So yeah, the Gen 5 will do it.
That's sweet. So full DSP control straight from your dash. That's sick. Okay.
Yep.
Final question I have for you. Let's see. We talked about the tablet video. No, just in case I missed it. So this still has AM/FM radio, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, it has AM/FM radio.
It has your standard radio.
And it has like a basic amplifier just to power speakers if I need, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. And the Gen 5 and the IQ have Toslink out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. For the other ones, I'm regular RCA out, 4-channel kind of situation.
Yes.
Gen 4 has the front rear sub.
Hold on. Front, rear, and sub. So that means it has sub controls straight from the interface.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 5-volt out, and they're 5-volt output RCAs.
5-volt on top of that.
Right.
I got nothing. That's it. You got me. No. Okay. Here's
like Jonathan, explained a little bit earlier. It took a little bit, but our engineers in our factory know what it takes to sell product here in the Americas. It's a little different than other countries in that. I don't know if we're a little, I guess, more higher end. We're looking for that next step type of deal. And it took a while. Trust me, it did take a while for us to get them to have that same focus, but they do. And it's incredible that what they can come up with these things.
I'm going to speak to that, Walt. I'm going to speak to that. So, being Asian, the Asian mindset from Asia cannot comprehend why Americans, Canadians, whatever, us North Americans, would want to spend 6 digits on a big old pickup truck that drinks ridiculous amounts of gas. It doesn't make sense in their mind.
Okay.
So let's just start with that. Like, it doesn't make sense. Now add to after you've spent $100,000 on the truck. You now want to tear it apart and put a brand new radio in it and amplifiers and so on. And this is our culture, and we love it. And this is why we do what we do. Okay, wrapping this up, I want to discuss this 2, 3, 4 final points. This is a very unique offering for dealers tuning in. You know, you can see my level of enthusiasm because it's new, it's different. It represents really a whole new other segment, and maybe customers who might not have ever even thought of investing in a source unit replacement. This is an option and an avenue that they could get behind. And that if you as a dealer are educated enough and aware enough to know these products exist, there are certainly, I can guarantee you, customers you already have that would absolutely be thrilled if you showed this to them. That's number one. We're talking complete OE integration. We're talking not CAN bus. You're not losing your steering wheel controls. If you have HVAC, everything is being incorporated. You see, no, wait, you have some product to show. What am I doing? Why am I pretending? Show me this product.
I was wondering where we were going.
Show me this product. I was just going to say, when you see the look and feel and how this works, I'm like, wait a minute, Jonathan's got the product. Show the product.
Go for it, Jonathan.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right on. So to get stuff off my my little desk, we'll start with IQ.
Look at that.
So essentially, you can see this would be an IQ kit. This is going to be for a Corolla, for example. So this would be the kit you get, and then you would be able to decide, you know, if you wanted like the 301 with the knobs here. And I did mention just how shallow of a mounting it is. You can see I think it's like right around like 2 1/4 depth when it comes to mounting. So when you're making those custom dashes, you know, I think we're even less than most mechless double DINs are. But you can see, so you would pick your kit, and then you would slide your radio into the kit there, and it's gonna fit because I want it to. And you can see now you got your would look like what a factory radio would look like if you looked in that dash. There it is, bing, got it. And so you could use that, and then we talked about the rotating one, and so this is the rotating one. So you can see the screen is floating, and the back of it is actually the mount. So it would go the same thing. You would pick, hey, I want the floating one, and then it would slide into the kit the same. And then instead of having a flush mount, you would have a screen that motorized and slid out. So yeah, that's pretty much the IQ. Walt did mention about the double DIN mounting. So this would be our double DIN kit for the IQ. So you would mount this in your kit or behind your dash if it's like, you know, old school double DIN dash. You'd mount this in there, put all the external dashes back on, and then the radio would mount into this nice little clamshell here, and then you just snap that into the dash, and then that's your floating touchscreen for you right there. So yeah, that's pretty much the IQ lineup. Oh wait, no, I forgot about the H.
Oh
yeah.
So let me explain the H.
Go back to the H.
So this is the IQ H. The reason it's H, you'll never believe it. It's because the chassis is mounted horizontally. I know. We are thinkers here.
Pretty high tech.
Yeah.
Like rocket.
Yeah. So
these quality names.
So this one here's actually these ones are actually designed for. We've got a couple multi kits for like the like 07 to 15-ish GMs, the one that had the square. So we've got a universal kit that you can mount in there, and then this 201H would flop in there. Same thing for the Chrysler, that thin,
like the Jeep,
DIN
the Jeep
one.
JK.
Kit that would go in there.
Yeah,
the Jeep
exactly.
JK.
Yeah, it would fit in a JK. Yep, JK. We did it in we did one in a Caravan. So just makes the same kind of thing. So it would look essentially like a Metra double DIN kit, but instead of being a double DIN hole, it's got the stuff to snap in our clamshell. So it gives you that, you know, it's a floating screen, but it's got the case. So it's got that new car look where everybody's got those dashes. The Mercedes started it, where they just kind of hung out, you know, and was right there. So yeah, those are the IQs. I'll show you a couple of the, I did want to show you the difference between, all right, you ready for this? So there's your 10-inch. That's your 10-inch. And there's your 13-inch double din. Let me see. There we go. I'm in the screen.
Jeez.
So, just to
I honestly, I feel that
hard time getting in a picture.
The difference is even emphasized when you go vertical.
Now, my history. I've worked with the OEMs in the past, and I had an opportunity to see one of the new Scion XBs in 2003. I loved that vehicle. I actually have two of them.
I used to own one. I had a 5-speed.
I've got a 5-speed and an automatic. Mm-hmm. Anyways, my 5-speed has a 13.3 in the dash.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that goes everything for the entire dash. That's crazy. Yep.
Well, when I'm using the AC, I have to have it vertical. Mm-hmm. But when I've got it.
Well, I was gonna say, I was like, just when I thought that the mechanized source unit, with the remember the fold-out screen, right, with the flip.
Oh yeah.
That was going away. All of a sudden, here comes you guys with a different take on motorized screen, but interesting.
And it's really cool.
Did you have any other hardware to show us, Jonathan?
Yep, I just want to show you. Here's the amp. I told you it was super small. So there's our little. The 5-channel and the 4-channel actually will share a chassis. So it's nice and small, simple graphics. And then I'll lift up here the big 10-channel. It's heavy, but there's your 10-channel with all your ins and outs. Again, built-in high level, all of that good stuff in it. And then I do have a Gen 5 that I can show you working, so you can kind of see how the interface goes. So like this here is our Generation 5 for the Jeep Cherokee in my hand there, so you can kind of get a feel for it's real. It wasn't just a Photoshop photo in the slide. I promise. We made them.
We have them in stock.
So, but you can see we do. Lots of them. That warehouse we talked about that's much bigger is feeling not so much bigger anymore. So here's kind of our home interface for our Generation 5, and it's got 2 pages. So if I was to swipe, you can actually see it would be very much like a phone.
Jonathan,
with
can I
all
just
of
say
the
something?
apps.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
This is so every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like every day, we know that you had to swipe. We know where to go. I don't know if you really even need to train. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just like, wow, this is exactly like, it's not complicated because people already know. Everybody knows how this works. But
yes. And so honestly, that right there is our greatest help and worst thing, because everybody knows how to work their phone. Everybody knows the nuances of an app that crashes and you have to reopen it. Everybody knows how to run their phone and their tablets. What they have a hard time doing is connecting that now my radio is a tablet. And so they're like, what's going on here? And so it's pretty funny just how much we do have to show people. Like this one right here. You ready for this? This bottom bars here, you can swipe and more pages come up. Tech support, we get a lot of calls that say, hey, I can't find, and then they'll give us a source, and we're like, it's on the bottom icons. They're like, no, I don't have it, and they'll read them all to us. Yeah, and we'll say, swipe it, and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So I give the advice because I've had to give the advice. So yes, but there you go. Here's the main UI. Like I said, you can see across the bottom, everything kind of swipes across. We've got like mini climate controls here that you can do quick and easy if you wanted to leave those on the bottom. Otherwise, like the climate would pop up half screen like that, where you'd be able to control seat heaters, seat coolers, steering wheel heater. If you've got dual zone, you can control the dual zones and all of that. So that's all right there. Like I mentioned, we've got Bluetooth. So Bluetooth music, Bluetooth phone calls, pretty much a basic interface as you would expect. Within video, same thing, movies on a USB, and you can sit there and catalog and go through tons. So like we actually have like a 1 terabyte hard drive that we travel with our Jeep and just have movies and music in it that you're able to just kind of catalog. Like that's a lot of movies, by the way.
How many USB inputs does this have? How many USB inputs?
So it comes with 3. So one of them will retain the factory USB. Now, note on the factory USB is because a lot of the factory USBs have all of the electronics that they use for the phone interface and handoff. A lot of times it won't work for a phone. So if you're trying to plug in like your Apple to do CarPlay or Android in a factory hub, most of them won't work because it's jacking up the whole handshake thing, which is actually a golden thing when it comes to Gen 5 because now it's wireless. So it's not as big of a deal. But then you have two USBs that are universal. One of them is specific for Apple. If you're going to do Apple CarPlay, it can do everything else, but it is the one you would need to use if you're plugging in Apple. And then there's a third one. So like we have a DVR camera you can mount on the windshield that you can plug into the USB. It's ran by an app. So you can actually record, lock, replay all of your DVR video right from the radio. And then it all records onto a little mini SD inside the camera. So you can use that, one of the USBs for that as well. Or, like you can actually see it on our YouTube. We are an Android. So one of those things I mentioned that's outside, you can go down and download a old Nintendo emulator app, get a couple ROMs, and you can actually plug a USB controller and sit there and play.
You can't.
Super Mario Brothers. Yes, you can.
Okay.
So we actually had a line of people at Knowledge Fest in Dallas playing Street Fighter on the
Street Fighter 2? So, how the graphics? Like it's fast enough?
Yeah. It was Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Oh, snap. The Turbo.
We got Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like we had Nintendo 64 emulators. So we had, I don't know which Mortal Kombat, but yeah, we had like lines of these guys just like, oh, wait, video games. Yeah. And they sat there and play. So again, it's not stuff that we are developing, but because of the platform we're using, it's opening up, to stuff like that. Yeah. And so and we've got our settings page, basic stuff going on inside of settings, dimmer, time, antenna power, like your amp turn on, inside of audio. We've got different source gains. So if you notice that one source is louder than the other, you're able to adjust them there. I'll walk you through real quick with our DSP. So there's our EQ. Simple, basic 16 band, nice little EQ. There's your low and high pass filters for your fronts and your rears. You've got the individual gain control for the speakers, subwoofer control, again, with high and low pass, and your sub. You can see the dB, the gain control. And then we've got time alignment. So if you wanted to do your whole measure to your ear thing, you can do time alignment. So that's that. We got video, super simple. We have an HDMI output. We used to have an HDMI input, but the company that we bought the chips from went out of business during COVID. And so we could no longer do HDMI in until like 2 weeks ago, our factory created the chip we needed. And so generation 5 is going to have a shift in its production, and we're going to go from a 5B to a 5H. And if you get a 5H, you can buy our interface and you can add an HDMI input into it. So that is coming.
You can do Apple TV. You can do,
HDMI.
Roku.
Does that mean I could share the video to, let's say, headrest monitors then?
Yes. That's what it's designed for. Okay. And the HDMI in allows you to do Apple TV, Roku, and all of that.
That's the bypass.
Share it, and share it to the Mac.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Some user settings. So we have a couple different themes you can change. The backgrounds you can change. The source bars, which is those tops and bottoms. Some guys wanted those things to be able to be hidden. So you can actually set that up so that you don't see the source and the volume controls and stuff, because usually those are static, but they can hide, and you can make them where you drag them in and out if you wanted to. Boot logo, boot animation, you can change the boot up image and even the graphic, like the flash that happens while it's booting up. You can kind of make your own. I have videos on that if you want to watch it. It's kind of intricate, but it is doable. And then music. So the icon down at the bottom at music. So this is where you can actually map some of these icons. So you can see I've got a whole row that say customize. So if I had certain apps that I get to a lot of times, like Netflix, or I want the XM app on there or something like that, I can actually program one of these apps to open up YouTube. And so now you can see down on the bottom left, now that one, if I hit that one, I'm watching YouTube now. So kind of give you a little bit of ability to customize kind of how your system's going to work.
I think all the Linkswell,
some guys
all the Linkswell units should come with a factory CMA button.
Okay. We'll hook that up for you.
We can work on that. Yeah. Just boot
with it. CMA logo.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can work that.
That's super funny.
All right.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. And then with
oh, Jonathan.
Yeah. And then within system here.
Don't forget to show him the radio. What? I'm sure he's concerned about that.
Oh yeah. I'll get there. Yeah, I'll get there. Just two things inside settings, and then I'm gonna walk away from settings. Well, three things. So when your radio's installed, you got to tell the radio what climate control you had, what version truck you had. So super easy. You go into the settings, car model AC, and then you tell it what version it has, save it and reboot it. This is how it knows whether you have the dual climate, single climate. So it's super easy to set up once it's installed. And then you can adjust whether you had like 360 camera, multi-camera, all of those different options within the radio. I had seat heaters, I had seat coolers, I had a steering wheel heater, basically telling the radio what your truck is or your car is, so it knows. So that's super easy. And then one thing that has been a lifesaver, as I mentioned earlier, we have two customer bases, the techie guy and the not techie guy. And what was the hardest thing to do with the not techie guy was tell them how to update their radio using a USB. It was the most, I left here crying some days trying to help people like download a zip file.
I can't.
And so we pushed, we pushed really hard on our software team. And so now right here in this upgrade button, you can actually go in there and download using Wi-Fi. So you put the radio, connect the radio to some kind of Wi-Fi, and there you can hit check for updates, and it'll tell you if there is one. You tap the button, it runs the update, and away it goes. So that's been a lifesaver, and honestly, it keeps it allows the customers to just stay on top if they've run into anything where something's wrong. It's super easy for them to kind of fix it. So those are kind of the basic settings. There's, the Wi-Fi, there's the whole Android side of settings. But again, if you know how to work a phone, those settings are all pretty much the same. But you and I are both super Apple guys. And so there you go. There's Apple CarPlay for you.
Oh, wait, hold on. Show me that again. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like a split screen. It's a little bit, it's a different interface that I'm used to. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So, and you can, your navigation, your music, all of it's going to be, and you can see I'm tapping, it's going, there's no delay, no lag. It's going to do its thing. Apple CarPlay, guys. Boom.
There it is.
That's probably the biggest question.
I wrote it down.
Your phone's your car. It's Android. Will it work?
Okay.
Yes, it will.
Let's wrap this up. I think the information is overload. I know I'm information overload. I need to go back and spend like 3 hours on your website just to go through everything again. But like, man, I can't believe I didn't mention this. Did you say Fruit Ninja?
Yes.
There you go.
You can do Fruit Ninja.
First time Fruit Ninja has ever shown on CMA. Just letting you know.
I had a feeling you were going there, so I opened it up.
We had it ready.
There you go.
We had it ready.
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
I was set.
Okay, next time we're on though, I want to see Street Fighter. Next time we're on, I want to see Street Fighter.
Okay, I can do that.
Yep,
yeah.
All right.
Done deal.
All right.
Easy.
All right. Walt, here's my final question. I mean, there's probably another 20 questions I could have easily squeezed in. I'll save some for another time you're on. I think we covered a lot of the main questions that people would have, that dealers would have, or consumers that might see this video. At the end of the day, from a business standpoint, help dealers understand how this fits, because for the last 30 years, they have sold source units a certain way. Well, they have soundboards in their showrooms to sell source units. Help us out.
We actually do have a display program that we do offer, and ideally, the customer needs to play with this. Just like when we have our booth at the show and stuff like that, we have units that people can touch and feel in that. And so, we do offer a display program. What we highly recommend, if they don't use a display, put one in one of their personal cars that they can take the customers out to, so that they can actually see. And, again, telling people that we have CarPlay, it's impressive. But when you see that thing open up, when you see how quickly it moves from one screen to the next, it's fast. It's easy. I do want to add real quickly, Jonathan went through the settings pages, and one of the challenges that we've had is installer. This is not a typical radio install. It's not a, yes, it's plug and play and everything, but there's settings. If you do not set this system up properly to what type of vehicle it is, and you can't do that on a bench. It has to see the heated seat, the heated steering wheel, all of that stuff. But that's the key, is once it's installed in the vehicle, the installer has to go into those setting pages and set it up. Ideally, I ask new dealers, number one, don't do these installs on the weekends because we're not around to help, okay? Number two, even if they get it installed and there aren't issues, spend some time, call our techs, let them walk through the other settings like Jonathan just did and all of that. So once they learn how our system operates, we very rarely have any issues whatsoever because it is unique. It is not your typical radio. But once you've learned how it works, how it thinks, how it just, it's a fun unit.
Jonathan, I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of close this out. What advice do you have for dealers who may be discovering your products for the very first time right here?
Yeah, no, the key is 100% have something that they can touch. Because we have guys that'll come to the shows and they're like, yeah, I've heard about your stuff. And then they'll play with it. And then they're like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Like it's one thing to see a picture of it and it's another thing to actually see it working. And so just understanding, like having something functional that they can sit and touch. And then like one of the things that we've started to do within the shows is create these real world situations. So like right now, I just opened up our Ring app and I'm spying on our engineer room right there. So that's a live feed from our Ring camera that I'm watching on the radio. And so just having things like that set up, like you can really easily buy a Ring setup or something like that, stick it in your display and letting somebody see that when you push the doorbell over there, it rings on the screen and now you're talking and stuff like that. Just being able to see all of the expansions, buying a USB remote off Amazon and making Street Fighter work. Like it seems like the dumbest thing, but it makes everybody like, what? And then it starts to push that mind. Yeah. Like what else can I do with this thing? Oh my gosh, I can do this. We had a guy just call from Florida because he had a tow truck driver who was just about to put an iPad in his dash so he could run this tow truck app. And so he found our radio online and said, hey, can this do it? So we downloaded the app. And so now he's going to get the radio because now he can run his whole business, his app right there on his radio. He doesn't need this extra tablet.
We didn't get it.
So just things like that. Like once
fleet potential, like we'll save this for another conversation. This is level one. I think we've kind of set the foundation and lots to chew on, guys. All right, here's the info that you need to know. If you want to find out more details about any of the products that we talked about, you want to get a hold of them, here's the website, linkswellinc.com. Every product we discussed is on there. Are the amplifiers on there yet? Okay, amplifiers not because I was the exclusive. They will be soon. And if listen to me very carefully, whether you're in Canada, you're in the United States, or you're in South America, still get a hold of Lynxwell Inc. They will hook you up with the appropriate avenue as far as distribution is concerned. Gentlemen,
Yes,
Walter, Jonathan, I want to thank you tremendously for coming in today and sharing with us all this great news, technology, and offering that you have from Linkswell. I enjoyed it, as you can tell. Definitely want to get you guys back in here at some point where we can have maybe a deeper discussion once I've had the time to kind of marinate and digest everything you've just. My brains are everywhere right now. So
we have some new exciting stuff that we want to talk about later on. But
beauty.
But so we'll definitely come back on. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the invite. We hope we've brought some knowledge and some more information. And again, we're here to answer any questions that anybody has.
Amazing. On that note, Walter,
Yeah, and I want. How do we become one of the people in the beginning? Like when you're like,
well, you need to know,
become one of those
you
guys.
need to know people, and we're getting to know each other.
Okay,
All right?
good. All right, I just wanted to ask.
All right, guys. Take care.
Ben.
We'll see you on the next one.
Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.
All right. See ya.
That was a Walt and Jonathan Detlefsen representing Linkswell. Brains everywhere. Fruit Ninja. I'll leave you with that. All right. We've got some amazing contests going on. And the one I have to talk to you guys about is coming up. It's the Ultimate Fab Experience giveaway. We've partnered up with Master Tech Expo to send one from the US and one winner from Canada. All you got to do is head over to cmanetworks.com/giveaway. Sign up. It's free. And win an all-inclusive trip. While you're there, make sure you check out all our other great videos through every category within the 12-volt industry. CMAnetworks.com is where the 12-volt industry connects. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us on this CMA Showcase presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
I mean, yeah, that's how
Stop
I'm
it.
today when I'm going to
Yo, roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?